Well, good morning. Happy Thursday, August 1st. Summer, well, I told my kids, I think they're like 2/3 through their summer vacation, but still summertime, great weather across the country. I saw Saratoga, man, they got a lot of rain, but they back racing. Gulfstream Park racing today. We got 20 minutes to first post. Equinedge, Justin, good to see you all. We've been here, I don't know, most days. The rope pump meet, but try to do a video most days. And I'll throw out a sheet. I'm more excited for tomorrow, Monday. I kind of have a block card. I might play the early pick 5, and that is probably it. I don't know. We'll see. But I appreciate y'all joining. Let's jump in. This is super competitive race. I thought this race was wide open. I am 782 if narrow, all prices. 6 got shot, Mischievous Scout. I put that horse 5th. But I probably deep spread in this race. I'd use the 4, 6, and 3, but I have the 4 and 3 kind of in the 6 and the 3 kind of in my back half of picks. But as I mentioned, 782 up top if narrow, but I'd spread. We can single in race 3, I think. So, they got some rain earlier, I think, in the week. I'm not in Florida, obviously, but I know they've had thunderstorms. But they're on the turf today, so that's great. The 8's still fast. It's still on the Tapeta. You have the Apprentice, I believe, Pedro Pena riding, if I remember correctly. This horse might run them off their feet on the Tapeta. It's tough to wire the field unless you set, like, first fraction about 25 seconds. And a little bit easier when there's moisture in the track, I would say. But I just didn't trust Mischievous Scout. The horse definitely fits. I just thought it was a really competitive race, but I do think the 8 Street 2, I put that horse second, put the 7 on top. Carlos David, Pedro Pena, right? I mean, he winning at 16%, having an outstanding meet. He's been riding really, really well. Won a 42-4 back. Ben versus Tougher in 2. He was on the dirt. Now they're back to the Tapeta. They're stretching out. I mean, there's a lot going on here, but Street 2 fits. From a strength of race, our class figure, that's why it's such a competitive race, I thought, because so many horses are in that similar position at this level. It's a non-winners to 2 lifetime. If we look at their lifetime record real quick, right? I mean, 1 for 11, 1 for 7, 1 for 10, 18, 14, 10. So, and you look at a horse like 5, the 8, it's wide open. Our genetic strength rating show wide open too. I mean, the top 4 GSRs when, if I remember correctly, it's in like the low 70s. I'm trying to remember, but you see the 7 taking money. That's what I put on top. Miguel Vasquez, right? It's having a great meet. Sammy and Diego leading and wins, tied at 71. They both were, I don't know if they were just kind of taking some vacation days the last week, but Miguel Vasquez always does well at Gulfstream, especially this time of year. He has 58. So he right there, but rides for Hertag, drops in strength of race. Again, that's our class for his horses dropping. Should sit a good trip with some speed up front. A good price. The Scotty long shot, taking money right now down to 6-1. The morning line, you're going to get closer to 8-1. So I don't think you're getting anywhere close to 15-1. So, you look at the E morning line, this thing wide open though. I really think it is. We won't spend any more time here, but 782 if narrow, 463 if deep spread. Race 3 is where I would single. You had 3 scratches. All these horses fit. The picks have this. Here's the thing. King Cousin B for Bernardo Lopez also had the 3. He scratched the 3 out or whatever reason the horse scratched. This horse ran well on debut in a 50, but I put T-Lou on top. Heather Smolian. Sammy decides to ride here. Ran fine first time out. That was on the dirt. They moved to the turf. The GSR drops. But 8, 1, 4. The 1, no filter needed. There you see the pace figure. You watch the race sim. Doesn't necessarily show as much speed on the race sim, but does have a high pace figure as a first and a second pick. If I remember, I think Edwin Gonzalez riding here on the rail. He just needed to get out of the gate and could be really, really dangerous. So it's a short field now. again, the 2, 3, 6 were kind of all players. So definitely some healthy scratches. You can see the 4 kind of romps. So, but I think the question is going to be the firster of the 1 horse because, Perez ride. Edwin Gonzalez, I think, was supposed to ride. If you see it, yeah, he was. So he now, maybe he riding elsewhere. He took the day off or something. I don't know. But was supposed to ride. Perez is aggressive. But the more I look at this with the scratches, I probably change this. I was A14. I probably just changed this to be 418 now that I had handicapped this yesterday. So I probably changed my opinion and be 418. King Custom B could be tough here on the comeback. This is my strongest opinion of the day, I guess. We'll just get to it. We'll cruise through some of these other races. I'll let you all get back to Saratoga probably, but Gulfstream in 15 minutes. So I did think, again, the early sequence was probably the play for me. Okay, so Rodon, we get the apprentice Pedro Pena. I like him up front. He has speed. We're going to talk about the 1 horse too. The 1 horse has a higher pace figure, but the 4 are going to probably get the lead, I think. Top GSR. Look at the genetic strength rating. The Rodon blows these horses out of the water. So I like that. And the horse has speed. So I have speed. I have the win percent. I have the top pick. And I have the top genetic strength rating. And I like to use that in maiden races like this because is a horse at the right level, right? That's really what we're looking at. It surface, distance, and then I like to use it kind of combined with strength of race. So I kind of look at combining those algorithms, and then you have the top pick and the top win percent. So here's the thing, though. You traditionally don't like horses that burn money last out, but I don't care because this was a 38 strength of race, and now it's a 32. Comes right back to 5.5 for Koi. I mean, it's just a 5 meet, 10%. Again, Pedro Pena rise. You got a good weight break there. And you look at Flying Ash. I just am not sure this horse can break because look at all the trouble in 7 starts. Broke 9th, going 5.5, broke 7th, has off the layoff shown a little bit more speed for, was it Juan Rizzo? Yeah, I mean, had some winners. Rojas rides. He doesn't win a lot, but he doesn't take a lot of mounts. And I'm just not sure that anybody is going to catch Rodon. I think Rodon going to get the lead and just run them off their feet. That'd be my perspective in this race. The 6 actually was the other player I thought in this race. So then when the 6 scratched, it became a simple decision for me. So this is my strongest opinion on the day. I think you could I like Bailout. I would look at the odds on the daily double here. And my Mr. Matt Miller, that guy's incredible bettor. I learned a lot from him in person as well as just a close friend that, he's great advice. And, Bailout looked like the class here and you get on the turf. I think it beat this group. So my point, I would look at a daily double. I was 2-3-6 here. I think the picks have this race, but I really did like Bailout because you can see strong strength of race. Strong GSR, or SOR is strong too. But I think we'll sit a good stalking trip. It has enough close speed. There's not a ton of speed in this turf race, and the rail is at 66 feet. But you can see on the race sim, just kind of sits the trip. I think that's the trip that Bailout's going to get. Isn't for a tag, but I don't worry about that because it's on the drop for DeBona. As you can see, he was in the tar barn up at Woodbine. Here's the thing, though. Ran at Woodbine going 8. It came way off the pace. Great. Ran at 8 at Woodbine. A lot closer to the pace than a 64. So very similar starter optional claim as that race. And that was a year ago, but ran a good stocking trip, sat off the pace. And then since then, it was inverse grade 3 up on the synthetic. And then they went way too long. This horse, the GSR, when you look, this horse, I think, wants 8.5, right? So, and has run great races at 8. So I think sits the trip. You'll see if your e-user have notes on the 3. Anytime you see those little orange bubbles, if your e-user, there's notes in here. You can always see that down here. And I'm happy if anybody in the chat wants to see something, just tell me. I'm happy to talk if I miss something. I try to go through this pretty quick. So you get leading rider Sammy, as I mentioned, him and Diego Herrera at 71 wins apiece, and Miguel Vasquez at 58. That's your top three. Jeff Jones, guy does really well. I do not really know him, but he obviously has been doing great at the meet. So I would watch there, but I thought bailout and then Flying Liam with Vasquez and Ramsey. I like Ramsey on the turf, and you get a little bit of a drop here, but this does look like a dirt horse, and he's searching. Is my only concern. So I heavy 2-3, I would say. You might look at the daily double out of that last race with the 4. That'd be my best bet of the day. And then let's talk about the last few. Picks have this race. Odds 4-5-1. I put Imperial Blue on top, but there's no speed here. I mean, Snooty Princess, it might be just about who gets to the front. Pedro Pena riding the 1, Sammy riding the 4, Diego riding the 5. It's between those 3. Not a super strong opinion, obviously. You could play out of race 3. I don't think this time of year they do the retail pick 5. They do that during the championship meet, or I'm not sure. You could look. You bet pick 5, middle pick 5 would be a play for me, just because I have such strong opinion in those first 2 legs. But early pick 5 too, right? I mean, it's not expensive. You could spread first couple legs and narrow. I'd use 3 here, 4-5-1. But let's keep rolling. I thought I got to put my notes in for e-user for these last few races, but I did handicap them why I wanted to jump on before first post. So I thought 7-4-5-2. It's a competitive Tapeta sprint. I almost put Chloe's Toy as a vulnerable favorite, but I like that horse. I put that horse second. So 7-4-5-2. I'm not so sure about Misprint, but might run a good trip. I didn't necessarily see these other bombers like the 1-3-6. I think the 6 needs the lead. Chloe's Toy, though, I think I don't think it's that going to be easy of a trip. Actually, go like this, make it a little more simple for us. But I'm not sure that I see this kind of easy trip. That's why a little more spread. A lot of money going to go on Chloe's Toy. We'll find a vulnerable favorite in a short field. A lot of people like this horse, so I'm probably a play against. We'll talk about it in a moment, not this race. But a lot of people, I think, are on Chloe's Toy too. But I thought Any Moment was the horse here. Carlos David, Sam Camacho, riding extremely well. And you're dropping here a couple points in SR. Been running at the 10K level. See all the money on Chloe's Toy because she won 3 in a row, which is legit. That's where I put this horse second. Like, go in 4 in a row. It's off the claim though, right? So that's where I lost a little bit of trust. Not that, it's fine. This horse has been popular in the claim, running really well. Bulgarian gets it. Owner, trainer. Yeah, he could win again. But Carlos David, great trainer. He 4th and wins. D'Angelo took him over in 3rd, and Jose trying to catch Barboza. I think Jose don't have 1 runner maybe today. Safi got a runner in the 1st, and we'll talk about another one. But Carlos could get this win, I think, with Sammy. So I was 7-4. We're a little bit spread 5-2. I have misprint 4, so don't really love that horse at that price. You can see the morning line at 7-2, but again, I was more opinion early. This is a short field. The card is just not the best today, but again, that race 3 into 4 probably would definitely play that as the best bet. But I don't know. I had no opinion here. I thought they all could kind of win. I put the 5 on top. Viking Quest. I didn't really love the 7, but horse obviously in a short field, So, but I don't really love any of these horses. Bad Gal Party. Is the top win. But I thought Viking Quest at the price, they're going 5, might be able to run a big race here. You have a good strength of race on the 5-6. That's kind of why I landed on those 2 on top. And they're in the picks. But it's a competitive turf sprint. It's a good race. It's a bummer with the scratches. Travel happy for Jackson. won a 58-2 back, ran well here versus this group. Last out on July 5th at this similar level, ran fourth. But Viking Quest won last out for Robson. Sammy jumps aboard. Hudgens was aboard last out. They cut back to 5 furlongs, one at 5 with Johnny V to break the maiden at the championship meet in a 54. And then, what happened here? 7.5 can be tricky, right? Rail was way out at 59 feet, too. You get the GSR bump to 64, and you look from a genetic strength rating standpoint, this horse wants to sprint 5.5. So I think I like that. You get a great price at 7-2. Viking Quest. For a vulnerable favorite today, I put the 3. This horse is fast. It's extremely fast. It's my vulnerable favorite, vulnerable favorite would be Viking the 3. A lot of people like this horse because of that win. I'm on Steel Sunshine. It ended up being the top pick, too. You saw it. Viking dropped down the second pick. Here's the thing. These two, Rolando and Viking, are going to be flying. And I don't love that 58 GSR for Viking. Stretching out to 8. Only for the second time at Oakland Park. That's a 2-turn mile. Ran a good race up front, but that was a 58. Fox is great trainer too. I mean, he probably have the highest win percent at the meet at 25%. Look at that. He's 6 and wins at 17, but very limited runners. He got the half amount of runners as Sappy, but hits at the same rate. But there's a lot of speed. It's not easy to come off the speed on the main track. These horses are going to be absolutely like motoring up front, flying. Viking went like 44 the first quarter last out. But don't dismiss Rolando, and maybe one of the speedsters win. But I think you can beat Viking. I take Rolando over Viking based on the morning line at that price. And using the GSRs in a handicap like this. Sappy got divine, Propos, strong GSR, but I would take Steel Sunshine to come off the pace. De bonus Sammy, comes back at this level, was in a handicap right here, going 8, ran a good race, but I think has more speed, today. That was on July 3rd. Viking ran on the 4th. This is an interesting runner for Sappy. Sappy Hughes. I think Sappy only have 2 runners today. He has the 4 in the first race, and then here we got 2 minutes to post. But I'll get done here before this goes to. We'll talk about the last race real quick. But maybe it comes off the pace. You get genetic strength. Horse wants to go dirt for the first time. That's start 22. That's a tough task to do that in a 20-second start. But the win percent's wild. But Viking vulnerable favorite day. This horse is going to take a lot of money, I think. I think a lot of people are going to take action there. And I like the other speed, Rolando. On the rail, but Diego rides was in that race, didn't necessarily break the best, but was the favorite there against Viking. But Rolando going to have to go. They can't just let Viking go again. Viking ran them off their feet last time, in insane fractions. But again, that was at 6. This is 8. This is a much, much trickier distance. So I'm against Viking. Again, I put the 5 on top. 5-4-1. Short field, obviously, but I like the 5 at a price. Well, not a price, but 5 in the last race at a price. This is kind of a tricky race in the card. I won't spend too much time. I would spread here if I was playing. If I was narrow, 4, 7, 3. A deep spread, I'd use the 2 and 1 if you're playing a deep horizontal ticket. So I didn't have a big opinion here, so I won't spend too much time. I'll show the race sim as we close it down. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be back on Mandatory Monday. Mandatory Monday, pick 6 every week. It's had a carryover the last 2 weeks, so free money, and the cards have been good. Last week we just missed it. We had a vulnerable favorite that beat us last week. Our horse was on the outside there on that Monday race. Of course, Gary, and for everybody, I'll drop the grid. You all have been seeing that. I'll throw that out here in a second. Good luck, I would say. There's your race sim. 7 wins easy, but I'm not so sure. Again, 4, 7, 3. Deep spread would be the 2 and the 1. Wish you all luck today. Have fun. Press your opinion for sure. And we'll be back tomorrow. Chat soon.